At what point in your trajectory did you start to get more consistent with posting on LinkedIn and kind of find yourself, because your posts aren't necessarily 3 sentences and done. You go into some
No,
depth and
no.
detail, and you share your opinions. When did that
Yeah.
begin?
Yeah. So it's interesting. So about in 2015, I got a call from my former graduate school that they were looking for a teacher to teach their office and industrial investment and development class. USC in the graduate real estate program, they have these product the product type classes they call them, where they bring in adjunct faculty member who teach 2 unit classes geared towards certain product types in real estate. So multifamily development, single family development, retail development. And they had a space where they needed somebody to teach office and industrial development. Given my background, I jumped at the opportunity because I'd always thought about wanting to teach and wanting to give back to my program. And that really kind of sent me on this path of really viewing myself in, obviously being in commercial real estate and a professional within commercial real estate, but also, viewing myself as an educator. So I've taught there now. I think I've taught 9 total classes since 2015. I've transitioned to where now I teach a class on entrepreneurship, real estate entrepreneurship. I just finished up this summer semester. And so, I was creating these lesson plans, and I was really diving into how real estate works, which has been, really beneficial to me. Um, and, candidly, I started after the pandemic hit, I started using going on LinkedIn more. I think like a lot of people, I actually quit Instagram and Facebook during the pandemic. I watched The Social Dilemma on Netflix and I said, hey, this is not good. I was on Twitter too for a period of time, and I was getting in arguments with people. And I was like, obviously, that period of time was a very weird period of time. And a lot of people were online. And I said, I don't know if this is necessarily healthy. But with LinkedIn, I always felt like I needed to be on it because it's a business platform. It's a platform that allows you to understand what's going on. Transparently, Google Reader doesn't exist anymore. So to curate news stories is harder
Mm,
from the RSS feeds. I mean, these are things like I actually talked to one of the people who works for me. They're like, what's an RSS feed? I'm like, oh, that's how you used to be able to get news
right.
stories. And so I think from my perspective, as that got harder, um, I started using LinkedIn more to really follow people, get news, get real estate news. Cause I've always been a big believer in understanding what's going on, being on top of the markets, wanting to know what's going on so you can, be on top of stuff. And so, really I remember, and I would post on LinkedIn, but candidly, it was mostly about us closing a project. I think it was very self-serving. And, as I thought about LinkedIn, I kind of had this desire. I'm like, I just don't know if there's a lot of real, authentic people on it. I think that there's a lot of people who are posting, probably no different than myself, just, hey, we closed this project, like life is good. And I'd always thought I'd love to find a way to incorporate what I'm talking about in school. I always get really positive feedback because I'd be really open and honest with my students. And I really would just wanted to find a way to leverage that. And so I always thought LinkedIn would be the way to do that. And then what happened is really kind of we stopped being as active as a firm because towards the end of last year, or towards the end of 2021, beginning of 2022, we sort of saw the market shifting. And the narrative on LinkedIn was still very positive. And I was like, I just think there's a lot of kind of garbage that's on here, and it's not doing a good service to the next generation of professionals. They're not getting prepared to understand what might be coming down the pipe.
Hmm.
And that's really when I started posting, sort of just posting stuff and just kind of comments about the market. And I had no preconceived notion with it. I didn't have any goals of. So I call you and I were joking. What do you call yourself? I'm like, I think I'm an accidental influencer. So I didn't set out to gain followers or do anything. It was just I'm just going to put out the content that I wish I heard when I was 27, 28 years old. Um, and the content that I'm talking about in class, I'm just going to put it out there. And if people like it, great. People don't, it's fine.
Mm,
And see kind of where it goes. So
yeah.
that's kind of how it all kind of began.
Yeah, the authenticity piece seems like it's really where you started and what the foundation was for those early posts. And I don't want to spend too much time on this topic because it's not something that I think that you want to focus on, and I understand why. But I think through that authenticity, there was this sort of joke and sort of tongue in cheek where you became known as Doctor Doom there for a while
So
because you
yeah,
were speaking very transparently and
yeah.
with authenticity. And
Hmm.
at times it wasn't rosy and like
No, no,
everything's great out there, right? Like you
no,
were kind of
no.
speaking the truth.